stood up and says, is there any more idiots in this courtroom? Just stand up now. Is there any more idiots? I said, I'm not putting up with any more idiots today. Is there any more idiots? I want to know. There's an idiot in my courtroom, and I want to know now.
Wow.
He says, and if you're an idiot, get out of here. So everybody just stood there, and what they did is they succumbed to the jurisdiction of the court.
Right, right.
Because they could just say, I'm an idiot. Yeah, see how simple that was? It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
So like I said, there's just like 10, 20 words, and like I said, I'm just trying to make I have this huge, ridiculous dictionary. So I'm trying to make little pamphlets of books that just fit in your back pocket. Yeah. Like 10 words, 20 words. So people just read it while they're, you know, on a crap or on work, on a bus. They can just read it real quick. Oh, yeah. That's what they're doing to me.
It has practical application, yeah.
Right, just, right. I don't, right.
Have you written a book, like a full?
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah, and it's too much. So like I said, I'm making these little tiny booklets, and I think that's what the Border Patrol saw last night.
Really?
Yeah. It says, so you think you know the law? Yeah. So I'm sure he saw that and said, I'm not messing with this guy. Right, he probably perused through it real quick and said, no.
Now, Gus, you had mentioned that you'd learned a lot.
Yes.
From Karl's material. Have you learned things that you've been able to that have had practical application for you that you've been able to actually use? Or
one of the problems that I've had is I've not studied intensely, but studied enough stuff that you learn a lot of the wrong information.
Sure.
You know, the Vatican owns everything. You got to do this, or it's the Illuminati, and it's really hard to unlearn stuff.
Sure.
And one of the things that first hit me is you make a claim. You know, a complaint is when you get somebody nagging and that, you know, you're not mowing the lawn.
Sure.
That's a complaint. You're a complainer.
Well, the government can make a complaint. Well, the government can make a complaint. Only man can make a claim.
Only man can make a claim. And Karl and I were talking on the way back from New Brunswick yesterday, and one of the things he mentioned with, you know, I do a lot of redress stuff.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, you know, I want to learn what you're doing. It's going to be way more effective. I'm really tired of this redress stuff. Nobody seems to be catching on.
Tell them what petition means.
Well, petition is to request of a higher authority.
Yeah.
Make supplications.
To a deity.
To a deity.
Right, so you petition God with prayer. So when you're saying petition the government with redress, what, are you kidding me? Are you telling me that they're above me? Are you trying to tell me there's some sort of a deity? A petition the government with redress? Sir, I require you to execute your duty, and I require you to execute this order because you work for me. You work for my benefit. You exist only to serve me.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
But under Article 31... We've got the petition part at the beginning, but at it wraps up with as the public good may require.
May require.
As of right and by authority.
I require of you. I don't may require of you.
So
I require of you. I require of you. You're going to do your job, and I mean now.
Yeah.
Well, I will have you replaced like a trustee, like if you're a beneficiary. You could have the trustee replaced on a trust. You're the public trust. You're a trustee. You execute. You know, from the trust, I said, we will replace you.
Yeah.
It shall happen, you know,
yeah.
post-haste.
people need to start realizing the authority that they have as men, and as a man, as a woman.
No, a man and woman, right? No men.
No men.
Men. Because men is not plural for man. No, it's somebody outside of your society.
Yeah. If
you understand the difference between man and of those of mankind, it's not men. Men is not plural for man.
Okay.
So you got to be careful.
That's interesting.
Oh, beyond, because
it's all
within your
games.
society, it's a crossword puzzle. There's no points of being close on a crossword. You're doing crosswords with the court. You're crossing words.
Yeah.
There's no close. You know, we'll give it. No, they won't give it to you. When they realize you're a man and you know what you're doing, you're confident, capable, stand behind your word, they will give it to you. Don't add a word, don't take a word.
Yeah, the words
They
matter.
have competency hearings to make sure that you're not an idiot.
Yeah, and I'm definitely an idiot. And I'm definitely
and when you don't understand what they're, you know, that they're actually setting you up for the fall.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Because I don't understand them, I overstand them.
Yeah.
I stand above them.
Yeah. If you go into Black's Law Dictionary and you look up the word sweating, sweating's illegal. Whoever thought of that? but sweating is when they take you downstairs at the police department and make you sweat it out without an attorney present and drill you with questions. But nobody knows that stuff. So you're listening to these attorneys, these actors, talking in a language that you think you understand.
But you're not of their society. And if
you've got no idea.
So that was what was going on in England. We were running a dual court. We were running a Crown Court. Well, Crown is not the Queen. Man, I went bananas in one of the seminars. Somebody I said, Like when I started, it was like Bismillah for the Muslims, and then at the end I said, God save the Queen. And somebody said, F the Queen. I took my shirt off, said, that's it. Who wants to? And then another guy said, the crown. I said, oh, you think the crown and the queen is the same? No, the crown is the legalese society. The 1 square mile in London is the judiciary. It's the Jewish side, is that side of the law. The queen is the land. The land is the inhabitants of a nation. The land is the people. You came from the land. Your mom ate of the land. Believe me, you don't believe me? Guess where you're going to go when you die? You're going to go right back to the land.
Right.
You are of the land. So the queen and the land are one. Especially, even this was in Canada, I found out too. I said when I went to Quebec, because I wasn't sure because it was bijudicial. I said, will the bank loan you money for land? And they said, no. I said, that's right, because the bank can't own people. But they can purchase real estate, but they can't own land.
Okay.
So the queen protects the people in the land. The banks can't own the land. Believe me, they want to own the land like you have no idea.
Right.
So when you people try to bring down the queen, she's just a symbol like a maple leaf or a bald eagle. She's just a figure that you people rally around when the bell rings.
Sure.
I said, she's not controlling you. She always says, I work at the pleasure of the people. If people want me to leave, I'll go. You know, so I mean, can you imagine being 80 years old and still having to do this stuff? She's a hard-working old dame. You know?
Oh, yeah, she is.
You know, so I'm sure she just want to go back to Germany and go eat a pizza and kick back, you know, but they require her to do it, and she's doing a wonderful duty.
Yeah.
So it calms them down when the Brits, I said, you know, when the Brits say, that's the difference between a crown and the Queen and Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, you know, born April 21st, 1926. Yeah, the woman is not the crown. The crown is a legalese society. And they're tricking you people with just making you think the crown is this nice old lady.
Yeah.
The people. It is not the people. The people and the crown are not the same.
Karl, how's the crown tied to the Bar Association?
It is the Bar Association. It's a legalese society.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a judiciary. See, because what was funny is you watched throughout the centuries, empires were built around wherever the merchants, the money changers went. Whether it was Constantinople or whether it was Venice or whether it was Spain. So what was happening is, like, say, there was a king of England, and he decided that he was going to go to war, and the merchants, the money exchangers gave him funding, and he said, you know what, I lost the war, or you know what, I won the war. Guess what? I'm not going to compensate you. I'm not going to live up to my word. Oh, that was my daddy's war, and I'm not going to pay you. So then they'd say, hey, you know, that's not fair. We got a contract. We got a 2-dimension here. It's like, well, when you got a sword and come into the 3rd dimension, let us know. But until then, we're not paying you a dime. And if you give us any nonsense, we're going to tell the people here of our land, the King James Version Bible people, we're going to tell them, you killed Jesus, and see what's going to happen here. So they just, like, so they'd go to France someplace.
Yeah.
So then they would go to Germany and set up shop. So England has a contract, an agreement with the merchants, with the money exchanges, that they have this 1 square mile of England in the city of London. And even the Queen has to have permission to come in, and she surrenders her entourage when she gets to the city of London. There's a nice old passageway that she comes in and meets the mayor of London, and she says, I surrender to the mayor. And the mayor says, welcome, Your Highness, and what brings her in. So they have an agreement not to trespass upon each other's, you know, practices, customs, and beliefs.
Okay.
So when the Crown gets you into their customs and practices and beliefs, you're under their rules, their codes, whatever. That's their common law.
The Bar Association.
The Bar Association.
Okay.
So you're going to get you're within their system. So like I said, when we did with Bali, I said I made a simple claim in one of Bali's cases, and the judge immediately jumped on the barrister. He says, you know, you have a you're required now by this man to take your claim before Queen's Bench. He says, you know, throughout British history, the Crown has never won in Queen's Bench. You do know this. He said, well, I'm going to need at least 6 months. I said, why 6 months? And the judge said, why 6 months? He said, well, I need to bring my witnesses, the officers. He says, you know, officers can't come before Queen's Bench. You know, only a man can. You do know this, sir.
It's common law.
Yeah.
Whether it's common law or not, what it is the rules of Queen's Bench. Man only could appear. So you're stripped of all your titles. You're stripped of all your all whatever ribbons and bows you got before the Queen.
Sure.
Because when I say to people, the King or Queen of England is up here. I don't care if you're the Grand Viceroy of all empire. You got all these ribbons, bows, bells. She's still a queen. She's still a king. You're still a king. And when you come before them, they could strip you of everything in a heartbeat and say, off at your head.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Well, I'm the Grand Viceroy. Look at all these ribbons and I've been here before you were born. So you're still subordinate to me, pal. You're still a man. I strip you of everything, your rights, your titles, your land, everything, off with his head.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So like I said, you stand before the Queen or a king as a man.
Yeah.
and all this other silly stuff with how big your wig is. That's Crown. Because that's how they determine who has a hierarchy in a court. Because when I beat didn't beat the guy. When Bali case was discharged, the Punjabi started to cheer. I got up and I said, "Stop, guys!" And I said, "This man put on a hell of a show. The Crown put on a hell of a show. He acted respectfully." I said, "He has feelings as well." I said, "He has no idea what just happened because he's never lost." I said, "I know this is And he said to me when I went to shake his hand, I said, "Kid, you put up a hell of a fight." I said, "I even doubted my stuff there for a little bit because you were shaking and throwing things." I said, "You put on a hell of a performance, kid."
Yeah.
I said, "You didn't waste your money in law school. Your mama still loves you." And I went to shake his hand. It was funny. He went like this. He wouldn't shake my hand.
Oh, really?
It was funny. It was like there must be something he's not allowed to touch. Man.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm sure it wasn't like a disrespect to me. I'm sure he's told we can't cross into their dimension.
Gotcha.
We can't cause harm
That's
to them.
interesting.
Yeah. So like I said, it was sudden. He just said to me, "But I've never lost."
Yeah.
This is the first time. He said, "This was my court. This was my case." I said, "No, you missed it in the beginning. I brought my claim before the court, and you didn't say, 'Oh, I object.'
Right.
Can I have 14 days to answer the claim?" You forgot the simple rule. I said, "Here's the claim before the court that we filed in Queens Bench on Thursday the 12th. Today's Friday the 13th, right, sir? You should have realized what I did yesterday. Ha ha. You forgot to object."
Yeah.
He said, "Is that what I did?" "Yes, and it's a common law land. If you were in France," I said, "you would have kicked my ass. You're good.
Oh,
You're
that's
really good.
interesting,
You
yeah.
got the statutes, you got the codes, you got the precedent, you got the case. You are fantastic in France."
Yeah. Hey, guys, we're almost out of time. Karl, how do people get you said your radio show is Saturday nights?
Yeah, it's Saturday night. Yeah.
Is that, how do people find it?
Talkshoe.com and
Talkshoe.com?
Shoe, yeah, the guy, Ed Sullivan, really big shoe,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
For some reason, the guy made $1 billion on some software, and
Yeah.
he just is just a fun little project he does called Talkshoe.com.
Okay.
And my call ID is 127-469, and if you Google me or you put me on YouTube as Karl Lentz with a K, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of videos of snippets of my show.
Okay.
So you'd have to listen. Some good man, Dennis in
Dennis
Eaton,
in-
Pennsylvania.
Yep.
He took my show and he broke it into little pieces. God bless him, because
cool.
I always wanted to do that, but I never have time.
Yeah,
His
it's time consuming.
Karl's shows typically run 4.5, 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dennis went and took categories, 3 minutes over here, 7 minutes there, and split it up into all the different categories, and they're
Okay.
all on YouTube.
It goes like the man
Fantastic.
who came to Texas to